All right, guys, I know we've been away for a while, but I have some very exciting news today. Now, this news may come as a shock to a lot of y'all. I'm usually not a very politically correct person, but once I had this, it kind of changed my life. And I'm not saying that I'm better than y'all, even though I kind of feel that way because of this. But anyway, I'm just so excited to tell you that I am officially woke now. I'm trained certified. I have a certificate and everything saying that I can no longer be called racist or homophobic or anything like that because I've had extremist training. And therefore, everything in the world is solved now. There are no more problems. Racism is gone. Hate is gone. Everything's hunky dory because I got training on this. Oh, that's not really how it works, is it? Okay, well, let me break it down. So, in a previous podcast, which I'll link up above, I talked about how they wanted to put extremist training in the military. Now, I never really knew what was going to entail in that. I didn't know what they were going to talk about. I could only assume that they were going to say, oh, it's because of the riots that happened on January 6th, but I was unsure. I didn't want to, make any false statements. I didn't want to put words in people's mouths. I really just wanted to wait until this happened. Well, today it finally happened. Gathered in the conference room, was handed that little lovely PowerPoint here, and we talked about extremism. And this all got brought up because, like I predicted, of the riots that happened January 6th. Now, my whole question that I never got answered because I didn't want to ask any questions. I didn't want to create any tension between myself and other coworkers that may have felt a different way. I just kind of stayed silent. But my main question is, why didn't this training come out during the Black Lives Matter riots, where there was more people killed, more damage done to cities, and by their definition is an extremist organization, at least by their definition. Now, I tried not to get too politically correct or whatever with people around me. Whenever people ask my views, I give them. On this podcast, I like to express my opinions because I'm allowed to do so. And before I get into any type of trouble, I do want to say that these opinions are my own. It does not reflect anything of the military. The military may have their own core values, their own policies, whatever, but these are my own opinions. These are my own words. They do not reflect anything with the DoD, any type of military installation, anything like that. So with that being said, I don't understand this training because, again, what does this solve? Like, how is this piece of paper, how is this hour that I took out of my day going to change the world? It doesn't. Because they're saying, oh, well, we're shining a light on it. Well, this light has been shown. These policies came out in 1990 of how to deal with people. The only difference is now they put in people that assume a different gender. That's the only key value that we could take away. So if I offend you with your pronouns ahead of time, I'm sorry. I'm on record saying that I did not mean it. It was no ill harm. But with that being said, how are you going to tell people, hey, you need to do these things, yet y'all haven't been doing it this entire time? Not only that, like, this is the issue you want to, like, put money into. Because we already do something for suicide awareness. We do something for sexual assault. We do something for harassment, workplace harassment, being discriminated against. We do trainings on those already. And they do nothing. It's really just a video presentation, a PowerPoint presentation, or some type of training thing that you got to do. And then it just gets brushed away and we go back to business as usual. Because doing all this doesn't change what happens tomorrow. Now, we can pretend saying, like, oh, well, we need to step up. We need to speak out against these things. But does it really happen? No, because, like I said in a previous podcast talking about this, it's up to our leadership to hold these standards in place. Because they're the ones that need to set the example. Again, the CEO can put out a policy, but it's up to the managers to enforce that policy. And the workers will follow. And I do want to say this. to the people that do commit violence against those that may have a different opinion of theirs or different sexual orientation, different race, whatever, I condemn those people completely. And I've said this before, I do not tolerate people that use violence as a means to get their point across. Because that's just not how you do it. If you disagree with someone or have a different opinion of them, that is their right to have that different opinion. You can discuss it in a healthy manner, like I try doing on this podcast. Again, every week I always invite people with an opposing view to come on. If you want to be anonymous, be anonymous. If you want to be on video with me, be on video with me. It's never going to be an argument. It's always going to be a discussion. If it turns into an argument or turns into a debate, then, so have it. But that's never really the aim. The aim is create conversation. So, is this what this is doing? Is it creating conversation, or is it just the way of the military kind of just brushing their hands and saying, oh, well, we did something about it? Really? This is what you're going to do? And then not only that, the definitions in here aren't really that defined, because who are these extremists? Is it someone that misgenders someone? Is it someone that may make a joke that can be, unpopular amongst other people? Where do you draw the line? Where do you draw the distinction? Because that's already happening in our society today. If I accidentally misgender someone, I'm called a bigot, racist, transphobe, all these things. Or even if I represent a political party, I'm all those things anyway. And because of that, my speech has to be silenced. I already get strikes on whenever I'm on TikTok, on Facebook, on this platform. I get strikes saying, hey, this could be construed as hate speech, or hey, this is not going to be monetized. And a lot of creators face that backlash because they have an opposing idea that isn't mainstream. They have opinions that should, not be hated against. Stating things like, oh, I don't believe in abortion, or hey, I believe in God, or anything like that. They get banned on Twitter, on Facebook, on YouTube, because it's considered hate speech. And you're controlling what people can say already. And that's just going to spread into the military, where it's just going to be this work environment where you're not even comfortable being in, because you don't want to say the wrong thing that's going to offend someone, because you're classified as an extremist now. And just how I am, just because I'm pro-gun, I'm pro-life, I voted for Trump, I wave the American flag, I get in trouble for these things. Not too long ago, I got in trouble for flying the American flag on my vehicle because, oh, well, you're not supposed to do that because we're supposed to be impartial. You can't have any of these political things, even though, according to instruction, I'm allowed to. But I got in trouble for all this stuff because someone got offended by it. Which I'm like, really? Like, you could have a fuck Trump thing and, let's kill babies and all this other shit on your car, but I can't have an American flag, even though I'm a U.S. citizen and I love this country? What sense does that really make? And again, who are these extremists you're talking about? If you're talking about, these domestic terrorists, like, I do consider KKK domestic terrorism because they use violence as a political aim. I consider them that. Neo-Nazis, I consider that also. Antifa, same thing. I will also classify Black Lives Matter. I'll always stick to that because they did use violence as a means for political gain. Not everyone, but majority. And I get in trouble for stating that, even though that's my opinion. It may not be truth. It's my opinion that I think Black Lives Matter organization is a terrorist organization, as defined by the definition of what a terrorist organization is. But people don't see it that way. They're just like, oh, you're so small-minded, you're dumb, this and that. And again, you're allowed to have that opinion for now, until that opinion contradicts someone that's in power, and then they take away your speech, and you no longer are allowed to have that opinion. Because let's say these roles were reversed. Let's say this was reversed on those people that do say, oh, non-binary, all this stuff. Let's say that we started censoring their speech. How upset would they be? But the thing is, because it's not happening to you, it doesn't matter to you. It doesn't matter that these people are getting banned on Facebook, TikTok, on YouTube, on Twitter, all these things. It doesn't matter to you because it's not happening to you. But once it does, then you start opening your eyes. You start seeing the world as it is. And I think a lot of it, again, is we need to start having these conversations. You have to really think for yourself instead of listening to the headline of a freaking thing saying, oh, well, this person was accused of this. Oh, fuck that person. But then you actually read the article and you're like, oh, wait, never mind. I have a different opinion now. Like, we've covered things on this podcast where we had a thought one day, learned more information, and then had a separate thought. We've had that before. And it's okay to change your mind on things. I don't know what the future is going to hold for me. I may be anti-gun in a couple of years, or I might be a Democrat in a couple of years, whatever. People can always change, but you have to be open to that. You can't be so stuck in your ways. Before, I wanted to vote for Bernie Sanders when I was in fucking college. Now, I'm a proud Republican. I was never into guns college, high school. Now, I love having guns. I think they are a good tool to protect yourself and your family. And I think every person should own one. But again, my opinion. But things can always change. You can always change the narrative. You can always change your mind on how you see things. But the thing is, you need to have those conversations. I didn't have those conversations. I didn't think about it because I was like, if it doesn't bother me, why do I care? Why do I care about politics? It doesn't affect me right now. That's how my parents are. They don't care about politics. It doesn't affect them. But then I gotta teach them, well, it does, because if you have this person that's doing this thing, it's going to affect you whether you know it or not. Take Biden canceling the Keystone Pipeline. We've all seen it. Gas prices have risen or rose, whatever you want to use. I'm not a grammar person. But we've seen these effects happen because of someone that was in power. He did one thing, it caused this, and now we're having to pay for it. And that's the thing. People are like, oh, yeah, cancel it. But then they see the high gas price. How the hell did that happen? Well, one caused the other. That's how it works. But anyway, I wanted to talk about that a little bit. I thought it was a fairly interesting training. I just felt kind of sad, or not sad. I don't want to use that word, but I felt indifferent about it because I couldn't voice my opinion in that meeting. I knew if I said something that it would either upset someone or it would be a repercussion to me. I knew I couldn't speak freely because my opinion is different than those around me. I couldn't say the things I wanted to say, whether or not, they're deemed, indecent or non-political or not political, but politically incorrect or whatever. I just felt like I didn't have a voice during that meeting because I couldn't speak out. And I know some people that I work with do apparently watch this podcast, which I learned today. So hi to you, first off. But how I am at work and how I am in person are completely different. Like, I'm not going to talk this way at work. It's not really my place to. My place at work is just to follow directions, do my job, and then go home. Here, though, whenever I'm on this platform, I can speak freely. I can talk and engage with people that are actually listening to this. And again, I'm always going to invite people that have a different opinion or even have the same opinion to come on, talk about what you want to talk about. This is for y'all, really. I just do this because I like getting things off my chest. I like giving my opinions. I like talking, as you've noticed with how many minutes are we in? Almost 15 minutes in this freaking cast, which was supposed to be short. But anyway, again, do apologize that we were gone for a while. Luther's traveling right now, and I really just want to kind of take a break and reconnect with what I want to do. The news was pretty much the same, except that Biden had issues going upstairs, which I'm like, okay, that's kind of funny, but it's not anything that needs to flood a news stream. But other than that, if you like this video, please share it. If you're listening on our listening platforms, thank you for listening. If not, you could always find us on Spotify, Google Podcasts. I think we're off Apple now. Anchor for sure, that's our main one. And follow us on Instagram. Send us an email. If you have any comments, please comment down below. Tell me I'm wrong. Tell me I'm right. Tell me you agree. Tell me you disagree. What can we do on this podcast to reach people and to get the conversation going? What can I do? Do I have to, dance? Do I have to do something? Sorry for the fridge in the background. That way, I'm having a baby, so the studio turned into a new baby room. But other than that, that's pretty much it for the coffee time news segment. I don't know if we're gonna be doing anything this Thursday. We may not. Don't take my word for it. But until next time, this was Coffee Time News, and I'll see you on the next one. Peace.